Alright guys, we are going to be trying the video homework again. Tonight's going to be a lot more notes than problems, but it'll get you ready for what we're doing tomorrow in class. You're going to need your foldable, and you're going to need the notes we did in class today. I told you that the back of it would help you tonight. You can kind of follow along when I do my examples. You're going to start with your foldable. You need to go to the flap that you labeled triangles. And you're going to be copying this down. We can classify triangles two ways. We can classify them by their angles and by their sides. So if you look on the left, we're going to be classifying by their angles first. And we learned about the angles earlier today. So an obtuse triangle is a triangle that has one obtuse angle, or has one angle that's bigger than 90 degrees. An acute triangle is a triangle that has three acute angles, so three angles less than 90 degrees. Remember, obtuse, we think of, you're obtuse, then you're big, you're fat, and if you're acute, then you're really little bitty. So that's how we remember which one's bigger and which one's smaller. And the right triangle is a triangle with one right angle, or one angle measuring 90 degrees. And then you also have an equiangular triangle. This E word is equiangular. And it means a triangle that has all three angles congruent. So equal for the equiangular. And we can also classify the triangles by their sides. So if none of the sides, are congruent, then it's scaling. If two of the sides are congruent, then it's isosceles. And if I looked at this triangle, I really can't tell if they're congruent or not. I can't just look at it and guess. So I actually have to have these little marks that I'm drawing in. And they are called tick marks, T-I-C, kind of like the tick that could suck all your blood out. And they just mean that those two sides are congruent. We're going to be using tick marks a lot more the rest of this week and next week. And same thing here. We have an equilateral triangle. That's a triangle with all three sides congruent. But I can't just guess that they're congruent. I have to have these tick marks so that I know they're congruent. And if your triangle is equilateral, so if it has all three sides congruent, it's also going to be equiangular. It's also going to have three angles congruent. Okay, let's go ahead and work out these two examples together. We want to classify each triangle below by its sides and its angles. This should follow along on your notes, the handout from class today. So find example 1. Now, when I look at the sides, none of the sides are marked congruent. So I know it has to be a scaling triangle. Looking at the angles, if you can eyeball it and tell what kind of angles they are, then that's all you have to do. If you need some help, you can always go to each angle, and you could actually draw in where the right angle would be. So you can see, okay, that's about a right angle, that one's acute. And then you could come here and do the same thing. Okay, that's a right angle, so that angle's acute. And here, so I have three acute angles, three angles smaller than 90 degrees. So this is an acute triangle. And example 2, same thing with the sides. None of them are marked congruent, so it's got to be scaling. This time, if you were to come in and draw your lines, if that's my 90-degree angle, then that angle is bigger than 90 degrees. So I have an obtuse angle. Since I have one obtuse angle, this is going to be an obtuse triangle. All right, so now it's your turn. These 4 problems are on your handout from class today. You're going to classify each triangle by its angles and sides, just like we did example 1 and 2. The second half of our video is on the triangle angle sum theorem. So you'll need to write this theorem in your foldable. So go back to your foldable. You can do it on the same flap, the same place that you were doing the other notes. And you need to write this theorem down. And go ahead and draw this picture so that you have a picture to go along with it. And the theorem says that the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Interior means inside. So if I have an interior door, it's on the inside. If I'm an interior decorator, I decorate the inside of the house. So all of my angles on the inside of the triangle add up to 180 degrees. So A, B, and C add up to 180 degrees. Let's do an example with this. Now this is a very basic example, and the problems you're going to be solving tonight are also very basic. So tomorrow we can come in, make sure you understood the basics, and then we can get into the fun, harder problems. So we want to find the measure of this missing angle. We know two of the angles, and we know that all three of these should add up to 180. So it's pretty simple. You're going to add the two angles that you're given. So I was given 78 degrees. And I was given 55. So I'm going to add those together. So these two angles equal 133, but I know that all three of them together equal 180. So I'm going to subtract 133 from my total, from 180. And that's going to tell me that my missing angle is 47. If you wanted to check that, you could go in and say, okay, let me add all three of these angles together. Let me add 47, let me add 55, and 78 together. And it better give you 180 because the whole triangle needs to equal 180. And it does. So X is 47. And now it's your turn. You have 4 more problems. These are on the handout from class. You're just going to find the one missing angle. And then you're going to be done with your assignment for the night. All right, good luck. I will see you tomorrow.